Hello, my dear students. This is Abhishek Mishra, Faculty of Social Studies at Mount Litra Z School, Jhansi. In this video, I am going to teach you class 10th history chapter number 2, that is nationalism in India. So here in this video, we are going to start about the non-cooperation movement and its extent in towns. So the movement started with the middle class participation in the cities. Thousands of students left government controlled schools and colleges. Headmasters and teachers resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. The council elections were boycotted in most of the provinces except Madras, where the Justice Party, the party of the non Brahmins, felt that entering the council was one way of gaining some power, something that usually only Brahmins had access to. So, as I had told you, that Gandhiji instructed Indians not to cooperate with the Britishers. So, in all the parts of our country, most of the Indians rejected the jobs and awards that were given to them by the Britishers. In Madras, some of the Brahmins thought that if they will not enter in the legislative council, somehow they will lose their power, and that's why they will not be able to put their interest forward. The effects of non cooperation on the economic front were more dramatic. Foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops were picketed, and foreign cloth burnt in huge bonfires. The import of foreign cloth halved between 1921 and 1922, and its value dropping from rupees 102 crore to rupees 57 crore. In many places, merchants and traders refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. As the boycott movement spread and people began discarding imported clothes and wearing only Indian ones, so production of Indian textile mills and handlooms went up. So as Gandhiji had told not to cooperate with the Britishers so that their economy will fall down, and it happened so. When the Indians started wearing the Indian clothes and the merchants refused not to purchase the clothes from the Britishers, so directly their economy was halved between 1921 and 1922. Swadeshi movement was introduced that time, so all the Indians started wearing khadi. But this movement in the cities gradually slowed down for a variety of reasons. When there will be a question regarding this topic, so the question will be what is non-cooperation movement and why it slowed down in cities. So here we are directly going to discuss about the reason that the non-cooperation slowed down in cities. First reason, khadi cloth. Khadi cloth was often more expensive than the mass produced milk cloth, and poor people could not afford to buy it. So that was the first reason. How then could they boycott milk cloth for too long? Similarly, the boycott of British institution posed a problem. For the movement to be successful, alternative Indian institutions had to be set up so that they could be used in place of the British ones. These were slow to come up. So students and teachers began trickling back to government schools, and lawyers joined back work in government courts. As there was no Indian government that time, so there were no Indian courts and Indian schools. So all the students and lawyers were helpless to join the services that were given to them by the Britishers. Now, rebellion in the countryside. From the cities, the non-cooperation movement spread to the countryside. It drew into its fold the struggles of peasant and tribals, which were developing in different parts of India in the years after the war. In Awadh, peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra, a sannyasi who had earlier been to Fiji as an indentured laborer. So about indentured laborer we are going to study in the next chapter, that is making of the global world. So Baba Ramchandra led a movement for the peasants in Awadh, and for this an Awadh Kisan Sabha was also made by Pandit Motilal Nehru, father of Jawaharlal Nehru. The movement here was against talukdars and landlords who demanded from peasants exorbitantly high rents, as they were the slaves of Britishers. Peasants had to do begar. Begar means they worked as a slave or under their landlords as an indentured laborer, and work at landlord's farm without any payment, like honorary worker they were doing work. As tenants they had no security of tenure. being regularly evicted so that they could acquire no right over the leased land. The peasant movement demanded reduction of revenue, abolition of begar, and social boycott of oppressive landlords. So these were the main three demands of the peasants of Awadh, and that movement was led by Baba Ramchandra Rai. In many places, Naya Dhobi Bans were organized by panchayats to deprive landlords of the services of even barbers and washermen. So these were also the people from the depressed classes who need to render their services to the landlords. In 1920 June, Jawaharlal Nehru began going around the villages in Awadh and talking to the villagers and trying to understand their grievances. By October, the Awadh Kisan Sabha was set up headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Ramchandra, and few others. Within a month, over 300 branches were set up in the villages around the region. So when the non-cooperation movement began the following year, the effort of the Congress was to integrate the Awadh peasant struggle into the wider struggle so that their interest can be promoted and they can not be deprived for getting their rights. The peasant movement, however, developed in forms that the Congress leadership was unhappy with. As the movement spread in 1921, the houses of talukdars and merchants were attacked. Bazaars were looted, grain hoards were taken over. In many places, local leaders told peasants that Gandhiji had declared that no taxes were to be paid and land was to be redistributed among the poor. So the name of the Mahatma was being invoked to sanction all action and aspirations. People were in a hope that somehow Mahatma Gandhi will save them for not to pay taxes and they will also give their land back. So here I am ending my video right now. Thank you.